Hello, this is Brian. Today is October 11th, 2020. It's a Sunday afternoon, and I want to present another episode of Spotlight on Trees and Shrubs. Today's spotlight is on a species I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and that is the sugar sumac, aka sugar bush. And this is Rhus ovata. Rhus ovata. Rhus ovata. Most people call it the sugar bush, but it's also known as sugar sumac. It is a pretty common native shrub to small tree here in Southern California. And as you can see here, it can get quite large. Sometimes they can get to small tree size. So, what's interesting about the sugar bush? Well, if you're me, I think everything's interesting about it, but let's not digress. Well, let's see, the sugar sumac. It is a member of the Cashew family, the Anacardiaceae, and it has several related plants that grow here in Southern California. Its range is basically from coastal and foothill Santa Barbara County to San Bernardino County, down to San Diego County, and also down into central Baja California Norte, with an outlying population in central Arizona. The sugar sumac ranges from near the coast to nearly completely desert conditions, because it has a wide variety of tolerance. It's very drought tolerant, it's very heat tolerant, and it's fairly cold tolerant. I wouldn't say as cold tolerant as the high mountain pines and firs that grow up in our mountains, but does have a pretty interesting elevational range. It's found generally from sea level to about 5,000 feet. However, sugar sumac, I have seen it as high as 5,900 feet. A small stunted specimen on Garnet Peak in the Laguna Mountains in San Diego County. So I have seen it considerably above 5,000 feet, but usually 5,000, 5,200 feet usually is where it stops showing up so much. So the sugar sumac is known for having roughly ovate leaves, hence the name ovata. As you can see here, they're kind of a little bit ovate, but they taper off to a point at the tip, as you can see here, and are a little bit wider and more rounded at the base. And as you also notice, a lot of the leaves are folded up at the midrib, kind of like a taco. Some people call this taco bush, and that will lead to some confusion with another species of related shrub here in Southern California called the laurel sumac, which is Malosma laurina, which also has leaves that are folded up like a taco. But laurel sumac leaves are a lot narrower, and they have a very pungent woodsy aroma, whereas sugar sumac really doesn't give off a woodsy aroma. I don't know, I've never crushed a leaf. It might be aromatic, I don't know. I've never crushed a leaf on it. But another thing you'll know, very common with sumacs and with a lot of shrubs, they pre-form next year's flower buds. You see here, these are next year's flower buds. So they pre-form them during the summer and fall months, and then several months later in the springtime, they will open up and they'll be whitish to pinkish, five-petaled, very tiny flowers, but they are noticeable because they come in these little panicles, so if you get close enough to a sugar sumac, they are quite noticeable. And they are actually quite pretty. And then the fruit of the sugar sumac is a drupe, kind of a flat-sided drupe. Let me see if I can get close to one. Kind of a flat drupe that's kind of red with sugary paste on it. You can see these are clusters of drupes right here. You can see they're all clustered, and they usually ripen during the summer months. Let me see if I can get closer to a better angle so I can show you better. You can see here, They're kind of flattish in cross section, not completely flat, but they have a flatter side and a juicier side. So they're not really rounded like a berry, and technically I believe they're technically called a drupe. But these shrubs produce quite a bit of fruits this year. As you can see, these brown things here are not next year's flower buds, these are this year's fruits. The bark on the sugar sumac, the younger branches and twigs tend to be more of a relatively smooth gray, but with age the bark breaks out into flakes. So I'm going to try to get close enough to show it off. I'm going to go to a few other specimens that are along this road here. As for where I am right now, I'm in the Cleveland National Forest, Santa Ana Mountains, and I am in southwestern Riverside County, California right now. Probably about an elevation of 1,800 feet above sea level. So again, you can see I've seen them at almost 6,000 feet, and I've seen them near sea level. Here is a more vigorous young sapling specimen here. When the shoots and leaves are younger, they don't fold as much as the midribs until they get a little older. And the ones out in the sun are most likely to be the ones that will fold strongly at the midrib. So we're in prime sugar sumac territory. My preferred name is sugar sumac. I grew up learning it as sugar sumac. So just remember, sugar bush and sugar sumac refer to the same shrub. So again, we're in prime sugar sumac territory. What is prime sugar sumac territory? Chaparral. It can be very some areas it's scarce, and in some areas it's abundant. Here it's kind of in between. I'm on South Main Divide Road, which just becomes now it becomes Los Alamos Truck Trail. So going up, this comes from South Main Divide Road, leading towards Ortega. And now here is a more open-grown shrub here. So you can see, I'll get down just a little closer. The bark gets kind of gray and flaky. Sometimes there's a little hint of lightish reddish brown in some of the flakes. And this is more of a typical size sugar sumac. However, they have been known to reach small tree proportions on occasion. So again, they are huge, a huge factor of the chaparral. So another thing is you will find them in oak woodland sometimes as an understory shrub underneath coast live oaks, kind of like that one spot I started off. They were kind of crowded near a coast live oak tree, and here's another very healthy specimen right here, another beautiful sugar sumac. So you can find them in chaparral, oak woodland, and sometimes coastal sage scrub. Again, here's a better close-up of the fruits. Right there, kind of more flat on one side and more rounded on the other. And in there you can see the flaky bark. This one's probably about 10 feet tall. They've been known to get over 20 feet on occasion, but I haven't seen them quite that tall. And again, since the leaves are, you can see the leaves are folded at the midrib, folded up like a taco. And again, that's more, I think more on the more sun exposed leaves. The leaves in the understory might not be quite as folded up. And here we got some more sugar sumac right here. So again, if you go to central Arizona, you'll find this again. Again, Santa Barbara County, San Bernardino County, down towards central Baja California Norte. Now, a couple words of caution about the sugar sumac. It is in the Cashew family, and people with sensitive skin might have a dermatitis reaction from touching the sap of this plant. So if you have sensitive skin, you might want to try hard to avoid making contact with it, because it is related to mangoes. It's related to poison ivy and poison oak. It does have quite strong sap in it, so some people might have a reaction. I've brushed by it a few times. I try to be careful, but I've brushed by that and some of the other relatives, and luckily I've had no reaction, but doesn't mean that other people won't. So again, and if the form of the shrub tends to be kind of nice and rounded. You can see it's kind of nice and round. It's a very aesthetically pleasing shrub. And it's not very fussy, and I heard it's supposed to be pretty easy to grow. I've never tried it before, even though I have purchased seeds online for Rhus ovata, but I never planted them like a dummy. But I would think that would require some form of fire scarification. Some people might try baking them in the oven. I don't know. I've never tried that. I know they recommend that for laurel sumac, but here we are. More sugar sumac right here. So, as for other things, like I said, near coast to near desert, the closest to the ocean I've ever seen laurel sumac was, sugar sumac, sorry. Sugar sumac was in San Clemente Canyon near Interstate 5 in North San Diego, the city of San Diego, near the Claremont and University City neighborhoods. I found one sugar sumac in the bottom of San Clemente Canyon, which is Marion R. Bear Memorial Natural Park. A subsequent hike in that area I failed to find it again. I was actually looking for it again when I was there the last time, which was back in 2019. But I did see one in 2015 in that canyon. That's pretty close to the ocean. Really close. It's really close to La Jolla. And then, of course, you can find this shrub in Anza Borrego Desert State Park, mostly in desert transition chaparral, and on the east side of the lagunas. I believe the east side of the San Jacintos. And then, I don't know, maybe Joshua Tree National Park. I don't know. I've never actually been there. But it does have quite a wide ecological niche here. And there you have it. The beautiful, venerable sugar sumac or sugar bush. Well, before I quit, I do want to make a note. Why is it called sugar bush or sugar sumac? It's because of the sugary pastes on the fruits. Let's see if I can find one. You saw the drupes, they kind of look like they were kind of glandular. Well, they got a lot of paste on them. So what happens is, people have used them when they're mature and still plump to flavor water to help stave off thirst. There could be some medicinal qualities in it. I'm not too sure about that end. But sugar sumac has been used as kind of a thirst quencher. You seep the drupes in water. I believe you're not supposed to eat them. Its edibility, I'm not 100% sure of, to eat the whole drupe. It's probably not the seed. Probably not the seed. I would not want to eat the seed. But what they say is maybe lick it and spit out the fruit, or seep it in water and then try to get the drupes out of the water. But it's supposed to be a refreshing, albeit maybe a little bit bitter and sour. Well, now that might be more lemonade sumac, lemonade berry. That's something I'll explore in another video. But I believe this one's actually supposed to be sweeter, so scratch that remark. This is supposed to be a little bit sweeter, and it's supposed to help you with your thirst. Probably good on hot days when you got some ice cold water and you can seep some sugar sumac drupes in the water. But there you have it, Rhus ovata, the beautiful, venerable sugar sumac. Found a lot here in Los Alamos Canyon. This was Brian, Spotlight on Trees. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative on this shrub. One more note, it resprouts after fire. Fire burns it, it will resprout from its roots. But I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.